All right, so how should drivers handle a turn when they're approaching a bike lane? There's also a parking lane. There's just lots of lanes.
Yeah.
That's what's driving a viewer crazy this week, Jason.
Yes, it most certainly is, because there's all kinds of things driving them crazy every
All
other
the
week.
time.
All the time. And we see it a lot more often now. There's so many bike lanes around town. So it was Susan from Denver who wrote to me saying, what's driving you crazy on 7th Avenue? There's a parking lane, bike lane, and drive lane. What is the appropriate place to make a right turn? Go into the parking lane or stay in the driving lane? Well, this is a real concern for bike riders and for drivers, where a bike lane has been added to the vehicle travel lane. Now, I went down to 7th Avenue between Williams and York to watch how drivers are handling those right-hand turns. Now, to put it simply, they're not doing it very good. I watched driver after driver drift across the bike lane and the parking lane to make that right turn. I only saw one driver over a 2-hour period turn correctly from the vehicle travel lane. Now, the way the lanes work specifically on 7th Avenue, drivers are supposed to be in that vehicle lane. That's the one farthest to the left off the roadway. Then there are 2 white lines that you just saw there. And you should know from previous Driving You Crazy stories, we don't cross those double white lines. Those lines separate the vehicle lane from the dedicated bike lane. Then there are 2 more double white lines that separate the dedicated bike lane from the street parking lane. Now, parking is allowed along 7th, except on those days where they do the street sweeping. Now, the way you make the right turn, you're supposed to stay in your travel lane. Watch out for bike riders like that one right there, who may be beside you or right behind you, and then turn right. Don't drift over those double white lines into the bike lane or into the parking lane to make that right turn. Now, according to Denver police, drivers can be cited for disobedience to a lane assignment by crossing the double white lines before making that right turn. However, they say drivers are permitted to cross the lines to enter or exit a parking space. And the city tells me they're doing other things to help safety, the bike riders in these new lanes. Those details and more online right now on denver7.com on Driving You Crazy. Also, Denver police most likely aren't going to give you a ticket unless you hurt somebody, because it's a low-level offense, so they're not really watching for those sort of
Either
things.
way, I don't want to be cited for disobedience.
There you go.
Thank you, Jason.
Okay.
We don't want to go against Jason.
Yes,
ever.
no, you don't.
Yes.